We will gather apples by the handful, handful, hatful, bagful and sackful. When the new year's here, it's time for a sailing. We believe in the apple tree man. The branches are heavy, then they're ready for picking. We believe in the apple tree man. Oh, let's bang pots and pans. We will wake the apple tree man, for he will ward away all those bad spirits.
3 tons of apples. And perhaps another 2,600 litres of juice.
And what's your total litres you want to collect?
3,000 litres this year. Right. 3,000 litres with about 60.
The sun is high and the earth is groaning. We believe in the apple tree man. The villagers' hopes they need a lifting. We believe in the apple tree man. Oh, let's dance round and round. We will praise the old tree man. Raise a cup, anoint the roots, then just sing oh for him. We will sing for the apple tree man. We will toast to the apple tree man. We will sing for the apple tree man. We will toast to the apple tree man. We will gather apples by the handful, bagful, sackful, rabbit in a hatful.
Apples by the handful, hatful, bagful and sackful. This is the story of the Old Tree Apple Festival, which I attended last weekend in the Welsh borders. In many ways a model for how future festivals, life even, should be. Here's Tom to explain.
So, my name's Tom. I co-founded a brewery, Old Tree Brewery, 4 years ago, which is a brewery inspired by forests, ancient woodland and orchards and forest gardens. And the inspiration came from picking elderflowers and the abundance of hedgerows, and also from spending time working in an old woodland and realising how rich human culture is when you look at the history of how people used to meet their needs for food and drink. And I remember one of the first things we did in this woodland that sort of brought the people together that started Old Tree was tapping birch trees, and realising that you could turn this sap from a tree into a drink that tasted like a sort of mead, had its own sugar source, and we tapped many a tree in that wood, the birch trees, and that was just the beginning of it. It sort of gave birth to the idea for us creating a brewery that was based around forests and gardens and could be a sort of networked system, where people could relearn fermentation to make the most of the nutrients and the sugars and the good fruits and things that grow everywhere.
Yeah.
So this idea for planting drink forest gardens as a sort of specific focus to food forests and agroforestry, which is, I think, provides so many answers to our greatest social and environmental problems. So yeah, drink forests was our slogan, and then it was botanical drinks for edible landscapes. And then we got more interested in kombucha and live drinks and learned more about the gut and how our guts are home to so many microorganisms that are our immune system. Basically, they are the basis for our health. In the same way that the microbes that a plant exchanges nutrients with are the basis for their health, and it's all a sort of microbial system. And kombucha is a fascinating one because it's a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, and in a way that's a good metaphor for what the human gut is. It's a symbiotic colony of millions of different bacteria, and there's this unifying theme between that it's biodiversity in the forest and biodiversity in our diets that is going to contribute to health and well-being and resilience. We found that there is a huge amount of energy for people to leave the cities and connect with each other. Whenever you meet someone doing a meaningful outdoor task, you end up being friends with them. We found that so many friendships have been created, and even though it's been a huge amount of work picking as many apples as we can every year for 5 years, and making cider probably very inefficiently, it's paid off in the other ways that we don't tend to measure in our economic model. So it's a social side of Old Tree, I guess, bringing people together, and like community and biodiversity, I think, are both really aligned. They, there's a lot there. There's a lot that joins them, and it's hard to explain, but that's the inspiration.
For me, it seems almost like the future of how festivals should be. I mean, small and intimate, but participatory, where everyone turns up and becomes part of what's going on. They're not sitting there waiting to be entertained, although in the evening you'll probably have a good knees up and a DJ. But during the day, just seeing everyone mucking in with the cider and the apples today, it was amazing to watch.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like a sort of social organism. And social production, I think, is really important. We're at the time of artificial intelligence where so many jobs are going to be lost. Actually, we need to have a clear vision of what kind of work we do want, and even if it isn't the most efficient work, if it brings lots of people together and they get to know each other and they can share stories with each other, then it's good work. And I guess we see so much potential for that in orchards and fields that are so underpopulated with people, where they used to be so alive. And we get more from the land by maximising photosynthesis, and you get the most photosynthesis by having more people on the land, because you have more attention to detail, you have more eyes per acre, you have people that can just prune a tree to get the light to that crop, rather than take out that tree and just grow that crop. The more that vertical height you have, the more productive height you have. It's just about creating gardens where you can have a greater diversity of food. Like 90% of the world's population are now consuming about 20 plants, apparently 20 food plants, and there are 20,000 food plants that could be consumed by people, and that's just the most terrifying reduction of sort of what we could be doing with our land and with our culture. It's agriculture, isn't it? So that's it. Apples is like the sort of link into agriculture, and agriculture is the basis of our economy, really. And in the age where peak oil and climate change is happening, we desperately need more people on the land and more people building soil. I was always inspired by the quote by Bill Mollison that, the problems of the world become increasingly complex and the solutions remain embarrassingly simple. We just have to observe what nature's doing rather than trying to remove it and enforce something else.
That's very much one of the themes that ran through the tree conference in Frome last weekend, actually. Listen to nature, listen to what it wants. Don't try and impose on it too much.
Yeah. It's like we are the world. We live in the UK, and the land here wants to be a forest. So there's nothing more efficient than just working with that, because that's happening. Yeah, I think there's so much potential for it, and it makes people happier. It's a chance, really, through our social network. We've found this farm, 3 pools, which is just a year old and has a big vision to be a permaculture demonstration farm. And it's just conveniently only an hour and a bit from our orchards that we previously had access to. Rescue the unpicked small orchard apples, and so now we're able to build a brewery here, and it's great to work with them, and be in a place where to share the vision, it's completely shared. The purpose and the vision is completely shared. So hopefully this is a long-term annual apple festival that we can do to produce, to make more from the abundant fruits of the land. We are 4 years old as a brewery now, and there's a team of 3 of us doing this, and it's, for all of its benefits, it's a huge struggle to compete with a marketplace, and that's it's so competitive, and there's so much money spent on sales and marketing, and we don't have that kind of money, and we're going to be doing a crowdfunder in the next 6 months, and we're going to be trying to increase our sales of kombucha, because kombucha we see as the sort of engine that can keep us brewing. We want to infuse the botanicals and the kombucha and create a range of low alcohol drinks, and we make it at 1.2%, so it's like a low alcohol option rather than a diluted or pasteurized soft drink. And it provides a brilliant mixer for all kinds of botanical infusions, and we love it to become we'd like to get this on tap in lots of pubs as the low alcohol option, and also do special flavours from forage botanicals that we can open source the recipes for, and get as many people fermenting and foraging local resources. And for us to keep going, we've got to have the kombucha as the main thing. So any support through kombucha, through cider, through crowdfunding, it'd be amazing. And also connecting with other organisations. If you're trying to do similar things, we'd like to partner with you and try and build a sort of symbiotic network, like the symbiotic colony of bacteria.
Changing the world together.
Regenerating the land, changing the world, healing the earth, and bringing people together.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Tom. Thanks.
Thanks, Lee.
I've tasted apples from across the sea, but they don't seem as sweet to me. as the ones that grow here right outside your door, my dear. I've known rivers and roads so long, but they don't pull me half as strong as the path that leads me right up to your door, my dear.
Hey, I'm Emily. I'm a nutritional therapist based in Brighton, and I'm also a fermenter. I like to ferment foods. I work alongside Old Tree, running workshops in fermentation, and I help with the nutrition side of that. I think fermentations are a really brilliant way of representing what we can do as a society as well. A kombucha, for example, is based on the principles of symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, and you could put that into the same. You could say that about our society as well. How we need to work as a community to work with each other, for everything to work. Kombucha only tastes good if you've got a fine balance. That's how I work with nutrition as well. Everything needs to be in balance. We need to have less stress. So in the world of fermentation, the art of fermentation, if anyone wants to get into fermentation, it's a wonderful thing to be able to take home and do at home. There's a book called The Art of Fermentation by Sandor Cat. On our own we rot, together we make cider.
Do you know this part of the country?
I don't
No.
know Wales that much at all. I really like Wales. It's a beautiful. I mean, look at it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Missed the
really
sun
is.
earlier, but we got the sunshine in our workshop earlier, which is really, really fab.
Yeah.
I think it's the best view I've ever had when running a workshop.
Will the apples be from me?
Alright, I hope you can all hear me. I am speaking through a cup. We're gonna try some dancing with some disco music. I don't know if it's gonna work, but it might do. So let's give it a go. We're gonna start with a dance called Mrs. McLeod's Reel. And this dance is in a massive circle, so you need a partner. Find a partner. It's hopping up already. Hello, my name is Harry. I work for Old Tree Brewery, and we've put on this festival, Apple Festival, with apple juicing and workshops. We called it a ceilidh rave. Yeah, that's the title we went with.
And it was quite unique, really. I mean, I come from a background that has enjoyed very much more traditional end of ceilidhs,
Yeah.
English folk in particular, and also been a raver before I started the big chill, when I chilled out a bit.
Yeah.
So that combination for me was really exciting to hear. And how did the original idea ferment in your mind?
So it was. We put on a ceilidh last year with a live band in Brighton, and it was really fun, really successful. That was actually, we drank all the cider at that ceilidh from the previous year's Apple Festival, and that was with a live band, and we were planning to do that again this year, and got into contact with lots of folky people. But for one reason or another, people couldn't do it and people dropped out. And so it was a couple of weeks before the festival, and we still didn't have a band, but ceilidh was happening. So
So you got your laptop out.
So I got my laptop out. Yeah, I make electronic music, and I love folk music. I have a background of folk music and gone to lots of festivals and that kind of thing. So yeah, got my laptop out, started recording violin parts, and then basically tried to make it as ridiculous and fun as possible. I thought it was a good excuse to see what kind of music I could get people dancing to. Yeah, it was definitely very cosy. Everyone got involved and danced the whole way. Like often people will sit down, but because it's been very cold here, it was good to get everyone warm. And yeah, it was very manic.
You're a Morris dancer, somebody told me. Is that true?
I am, yeah. In Oxfordshire. I grew up Morris dancing for a team called Icknield Way Morris Men, and they're a really fun side, lots of musicians and stuff. I was also in a group called Nifty, which is the National Youth Folklore Troupe of England, and they're a really great side. So yeah, folk's been a big part of my life, I think, as well as dance music. So yeah.
Stir the fire and light the light. The darkest hour is here tonight, for the bell has rung. The hour has come to rake the embers of the sun. Rouse him up, what need be done to make him shine again? Conjure up a glowing bed for the winter love to lie. Fuel it well with all your skill and stoke it hot and high. More precious than gold is the winter fire. To guard it well be your desire. Good luck to the house whose flames grow higher, to make him shine again. Stir the fire and light the light. Fan the flames till they're blazing bright. We're gathered here at the dead of the year to strive against what we most fear. Make a living spark appear and make him shine again. Fan the blaze in these dark days with the leaves of evergreen, for the berries they bear in winter time are the finest to be seen. The mistletoe and the ivy too, and holly that shines the whole year through, shines like the sun on the morning dew. Oh, make him shine again. Stir the fire and light the light. Roast up a feast for your delight. Old plum pudding and new mince pies, goose and capon beef likewise. Spice and wine to dazzle your eyes and make him shine again.
On our own we rot, together we make cider.